Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I've just had an email from my accountant to say that they've completed my tax return. And I want to go through with you what I would be checking before I sign that tax return and let my accountant submit it. So this video is all about looking at a tax return completed by someone else to give you confidence in that when you're signing it, that you're happy that everything's going to be right. Stay tuned. Hello, my name is Patrick. I'm a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, and also head of accounts here at Boffix. Now, as I said in the intro, in this video, I have just received an email from my accountant, and in this email, it's telling me that my tax return has been completed. It's telling me all I need to know about when I need to pay my taxes, when it needs to be submitted by, and it's giving me all that information. But it's crucially asking me to sign that tax return before my accountant actually goes and submits it. So let's go through step by step. A, how you would sign one using Boffix's technology, and B, what you should be looking for to be making sure that everything's complete. Let's have a look. So first of all, per my email, so I'm just looking through my email now, I can see that I need to sign into my online portal. So let's give that a go. Okay, now I've signed into my portal, it makes it really easy for me. In fact, you can see straight away, asking me to view and sign my SA100, which is my tax return. But before I sign it, I really should get confidence. I should look through what else is there so that I can be understanding of what's going on. So I know that my files are all going to be under my document portal just here, but first of all, let's just have a look at some deadlines that might be useful to me. So I can see here when my next return is due. And I can look at my tax liabilities and see what's due each time. It's even telling me I've got less than 4 weeks until that's done. All right, but let's go look at the document portal and look into the tax year that's relevant. And here is the important part. So originally, as you can see here, I've got 3 documents. I've got my SA302, my SA100, and my detailed schedule. Now, the detailed report is the easy one to explain. That's going to include all of the information that we would expect to see on our tax return. So our P60 information, our tax return information, whatever information we've got, we expect to see that in there. Our SA, so self-assessment 302, which is just the number of the form 302, is actually our calculation. So if I need to figure out how much I need to pay or how that calculation has been created, my SA 302 is the form I want to look at. It's going to tell me that. I'm going to have a look in a minute what that means. And then we've got SA100, which is my self-assessment 100, again the name of the form, and basically that is your tax return. That's all those wonderful boxes and different colours and everything else that goes with it. And that's the bit that we're being asked to sign today so that that can get submitted. Remember, that's the bit that's due before the deadline, which is currently 31st of January. Also included in here as well are my supporting documents, and I go into there and this is the information that I've provided. So I've got my P60 that I passed over to my accountant, or maybe they've got that as well. I've got an Excel spreadsheet of all different manner of information. I can go in there, I can download it if I need to. I've got a whole detailed area of what I've actually provided to my accountant. And crucially with Boffix, I've got my self-assessment checklist. And this checklist is really, really important. This is what Boffix asks for me to complete on an annual basis so that they know that they've got everything included. Especially at the moment, we've got things like your self-employed income support schemes, items like that, where we won't know as accountants what those figures are going to be. And we rely basically on getting the information from these sort of things like this checklist. So as you can see, I've completed my checklist. I've done everything I need to do. I'm happy with that. So my supporting documents are basically the documents that help me create my tax return. And straight away, the first one I want to look at is that detailed report, because it's that detailed report that basically solidifies what's been included on the return in hopefully a manner that's easy to understand. So here I've got my P60, which I expect to have come directly from my actual P60 itself, and I've got my self-employed income just below it with my turnover, my expenses, and what's really important is that net profit that's gone there. And what I want to be doing in those detailed reports is just making sure that everything I've provided to my accountant has arrived. Has it been a case where I've sent 3 emails and only 2 of those emails have actually arrived? One of them got stuck in spam or got stuck at getting sent, or whatever the reason is going to be. And that 3rd email, which may have related to something like rental income or something, hasn't appeared on that detailed schedule. That's going to be your confidence. You go through that detailed schedule. You may not recognize every number that's there because the accountant's doing the cleverness of an accountant and has gone through and maybe adjusted those numbers either in your favor or in a particular manner where actually HMRC is going to be more, they're going to look at it more favorably for you. But for either way, you're going to be able to go through that detailed schedule and you'll almost use it as a checklist. Go through, I'm happy I've sent that. Yeah, that's what I sent. That's what I expected to see. And that will give you all the information you need and give you the opportunity to be able to see that data there as well. The next one that's going to be really important is your SA302. Now the SA302 is basically how much tax you need to pay. Now, the idea of an SA302 is it takes all of the income you've got, it shows you all the calculations of how they've got to that final figure, and then it's deducted anything that you may have already paid. So if you've got salary or anything like that, P60s, and you've already paid tax at source, then you've paid for some of the tax already, and that gets deducted. Now, SA302s can be as simple as this one here, where we've only got 2 forms of income, or it can be a multi-page monster of a form where it's got lots and lots of different calculations going on. But the bits that you're really important or will find really important is always going to be the total income due here. And then crucially, and it's not available on this example, but it's that payment on account. Now, payment on account can be the most difficult part to justify when it comes to doing taxes, especially for self-employed. Payment on account means that you're not just paying for this year's taxes, but you're paying for next year's taxes in advance. And it's done on a method where actually if HMRC just did their typical way, it will be half of what your tax bill was this year. Now, the payment on account bit is where it can get pretty complicated. And we're going to do a separate video on that one to explain exactly what payment on accounts means to give you an understanding of what it is. But basically what you're looking for here is, first of all, making sure that you recognise where that income comes from, seeing and making sure you recognise if you've paid any tax up front, and then finally making note, understanding what your tax liabilities are going to be. Because if you submit this tax return as it is now, that's the tax figure that you're going to be due to pay by the 31st of January. And if you've got a payment on account, also by the 31st of July. And finally, the element that you're asked to sign, your SA100. The idea here is this is your tax return. You then are asked to go through and make sure that you're happy with this tax return and everything that's included on it. Now, again, depending on how complicated your tax affairs are, depends on how long and how laborious this form is going to be. Now, the thing that you should be able to take for granted and the thing that you should be able to understand is that you're paying your accountant to complete this form. So realistically, if you're happy with the SA302, which is how much tax you've got to pay, and you're happy with your detailed schedule, which is all the information has been there and is provided and is included into the form, then realistically this form should be absolutely spot on. There's a few tips I'd give you for you. The first one, and a big one, is really that address at the top. Now, as accountants, sometimes we don't get to know about you changing address. Sometimes we don't get to know that you've moved house in a particular period. Also, sometimes you tell us about, you've moved and you've told us about this and we've updated X, Y, and Z, but we haven't updated this particular part. So just do us a favour, keep an eye on that address bit for us, make sure that's always up to date, because that can be important, because that's what HMRC are going to see as the most up-to-date address for yourself. So do yourself a favour, make sure that address is correct. Finally, make sure things like date of birth hasn't been transposed or anything daft like that. Make sure that national insurance is recognisable, it is your national insurance. And then everything else really should go through, and they're the numbers that are going through from there. If you do want to look at it in more detail, then just use this as an opportunity to try and understand what the tax return is asking for you. It's asking for you for basically, for like the self-employed element of it, it's asking for turnover, it's asking for costs, it's asking for those elements. And you should recognise those numbers, because they're the numbers that should appear in that detailed schedule. Once you've gone through that SA 100, once you're happy with it, and if you're happy that that tax bill that's been presented to you is correct and you're ready to pay it, then what you need to do now is you need to go and sign this document. Now, the way, again, at Boffix we do it, we use this view and sign button at the top. That gives you a chance to view that one for one more time. You can agree. I can put my name in. I can press sign document. And then I know now that that document is going to be submitted to HMRC on my behalf. Now, remember, we need to be making sure that this is submitted before the 31st of January. And you need to give your accountants time to do that, because they're going to be inundated with people signing stuff, especially at the end of the period. If you're leaving it to the exact last moment and you're on the 31st of January itself, there is potential there that your accountant's going to run out of time to get yours submitted. So please, work with your accountant with it. Give them opportunity to submit it. Try and sign it as soon as possible. And don't be afraid to ask questions to your accountant as well. The way we do it here at Boffix is we give an opportunity for our clients to be able to communicate with us in whichever form is best for them. And we find that actually booking a slot with us, booking an appointment with us is by far the most appropriate way. And we always make sure there's links available for clients to go in, book that needed appointment, maybe to discuss the form, maybe to understand it a little bit better, whatever it needs to be. We give that opportunity. But again, make sure you book that well in advance of that deadline, just in case there's extra information needed, just in case there's extra clarity needed, and that will then prevent any further deadlines going forward. And there we have it. There is a look down into what A, to look out for in your tax return before you submit it, B, the process that many accountants will be using to get you to sign and submit their return, and C, an opportunity for you to understand how it works if you were to use an accountant to get that information there, what to expect from them, how that's going to work going forward. If you want to talk about any more of this, please do use the information below to book a contact slot with us. We're more than happy to talk to anyone about any of our services we have on offer, or just simply stick a comment below. We're constantly looking at that comments section, and we've actually got a video coming up very soon about actually answering those comments in more detail. So we haven't actually answered your particular comment yet. It might be because you're going to feature on one of our videos coming up. And there you have it. What do you think? Give us some comments below about how you think that process works. Does that look like it's an easy solution go through, or would you expect a little bit more? Let us know below. We're always interested to see how we may be able to improve our process to make it better for our clients going forward. My name's been Aaron Patrick. As always, been an absolute pleasure to do this video for you. And I'm sure I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.